What's going on, guys? Welcome back. I'm gonna give you guys a strategy, and it is not guaranteed to work in your area. Even if you're in my state, even if you're in my state of Connecticut, different parts of Connecticut are not all created equal, meaning they're gonna get certain rides on certain platforms more often than others. For example, Stanford is 90% Uber. I don't even think if you had a Lyft app platform on, would you even get a ride in Stanford, Connecticut? You know, it's dominated by Uber. But this is just a strategy that I use lately, and it's been working. I tested it over and over for these past 2 weeks because I am trying to go private, but I'm trying to also make some money while I'm building up that part of the business. So I tested the strategy. It's been working. The only day, there are days it doesn't work, and I would say that's probably Sunday being the slowest in my area for whatever reason. I thought Sundays would be busy, but I gotta admit, Sundays are really slow in my area. So this might not work on Sundays, but it's been working majority Monday through even Saturday. It's been working. Even though Saturdays are kind of slow in my area too, it still works on Saturday. Here it is. I started getting up earlier. Oh, and this does require me driving 2 hours more than I originally was doing. So I'm damn near full time on this one. Not quite, but 6 hours a day, at least 6 days a week. So, in my opinion, that's not quite full time, but it's way more than I wanted to do. But I had to test this theory, and I also had to pay off some bills. So I tried this. Like I said, it almost guarantees me at least at the low end, 120. On the high end, it guarantees me 150. So I got to get up earlier for this. So I started getting up about 8. Guaranteed if I get up at 7, this will work. Sometimes I'm lazy and I'll get up at 8. But if I get up at 7 in the morning, this is guaranteed to work. Get up at 7. I only put on the Lyft platform. For some reason, I do not know why, but in the morning, Lyft gives me a whole lot of rides. I mean a lot. I don't know if nobody likes to get up early in my area or what it is, but when I do Lyft in the morning, it's giving me back-to-back local rides. And I'm hitting back-to-back those, streak bonuses or whatever you call them. 3 for 9, 3 for 12 usually. I'm hitting those back-to-back in the morning, and they're not even throwing me off and throwing me way out of the town. You know what I mean? Where in the afternoon, Lyft likes to give me rides and those streak bonuses, at least one long, nasty one for no money, and it'll be like 30 minutes away. But that's not the case no more. Apparently, a lot of people in my area, they need a lot of inexpensive rides in the morning, and Lyft tends to be a few dollars cheaper for the passengers from what I'm getting, because my internal survey, because I've been literally questioning passengers just to get this data, and most of them are saying Lyft is a few dollars cheaper, especially in the morning time. So it's a lot of people going to work on the Lyft app, and this lasts till about, I would say, if you get up 7, you'll be done by 10, and you've already made at least $50, $60 on the low end, possibly even $100. You could possibly even make your whole 100 by 10. And then what I like to do is, for some reason, I'll get like 1 or 2 private rides on that lunchtime area, like around 11 to 12. Or I'll just go home and have like a 2-hour lunch. Now the beauty of this, is I can go home and chill till about 2, or I can start back early at about 1. At that point, you put in about another 3 to 3.5 hours. That would finish out your day. You know, depending on how many private rides you got that day. If you got a private ride that's paying you $50 to $100, you're above your exceeded amount. You know, so I'm not even including that. I'm just talking about just what you're gonna get, finish out the day. You could easily make another $40 to $60 in those 3 hours in the afternoon, because they're trying to give you more streaks and more bonuses, about 3 to 4, 4 to 5. And if you feel like working an extra hour on top of that, you're only going to guarantee at least 120 on the low end, 150 on the higher end. No matter how shitty the rides are. I don't take everything. I'm very picky. My acceptance rate is really bad, but it almost doesn't matter what ride you take, even if they're shitty. You should average about 20, I would say $20 an hour on average. But that's not profit. I want to be clear. That's what you made up front. That's not minusing gas or any of that stuff. I'm just letting you know what you're going to make on average. You got to deduct your costs. Now, is this a lot of money? No. All I'm saying is Uber and Lyft is very unpredictable amount of money, and at least this guarantees a set amount of money if you need to pay bills. But it only works in my area. I'm in like Hartford, New Britain area. This probably isn't even going to work in your area if you're on another part of Connecticut. Because, like I said, Stamford, Connecticut, I can almost guarantee you could pretty much stay on Uber all day. You probably won't even need Lyft. But for some reason, Uber in the morning, for me, it's really spotty. Because you got to remember, Uber is doing a thing where we're competing against ourselves. Uber is forcing us to compete against other drivers with that trip radar crap. So because of trip radar, we have to compete with other drivers to get the best rides in that area, where Lyft, I must say, doesn't play that game. It's going to give it to the closest driver, which is usually me, and believe it or not, my neighbor, in the morning. Now, how did I learn the strategy? My neighbor. We always go back and forth, comparing notes with Uber and Lyft. He likes Lyft. Let's be clear, we both hate rideshare, but we're doing it because it's bringing in extra income. It's 100% of his income. It's primarily probably about 80% of my income right now. It's not 100 because I have online business. But it's 80%, and we go back and forth. I'm usually on the Uber side, he's usually on the Lyft side, and he swore that just driving in the morning on Lyft, he was getting his money. He's happy with $100 and he goes home. And I was like, I'm not saying that, because I was too lazy to get up in the morning and was driving. The earliest I was getting up and leaving the house was probably about 10. I was already up in the morning, but I didn't want to leave the house till about 10. That was the earliest. And that's when it starts slowing down. And I knew this from being a experienced driver, that the early morning drivers make more money. But I I was doing this as a part-time thing. And when you're doing something part-time, you really don't want to put a lot of effort into it. But this week I started putting some effort in, and I guarantee now at least a set amount that I know I can make simply by getting up early, driving for those first 3 hours, go home, I could chill, I could eat, I can get a private ride in, or I could just go home, watch TV, go back out about 2, maybe to about 5:30, because being light out longer now, thank God. And I can guarantee myself, I like to do 120, so that'll give me at least that gas money, but I really only need $100 a day, you know. And as I move into this video world, I'm trying to push that 80% on rideshare into other things and make rideshare maybe 50%. So I'm going to go back to part-time, but I just wanted to give you guys a strategy that I picked up. And in all honesty, it depends on where you even start in the morning. Because if you start in, say, Hartford, you might get a lot of Uber in the morning. It really depends. But from what I'm seeing, Lyft is the way to go in the morning. In the afternoon, now what I do is I go back to Uber, because I'll get those bonuses, those bonus times where you're in a certain area and you get that extra $1.50 or $2.50 or $3, whatever they give you. It's really pennies, but I try to get everything I can. And I'll sit in my area, which happens to be where I like to chill out anyway, because I'm in the zone right at my house, technically. I could just sit in the car and I'm in the zone. So I just sit there from usually about 2 to about 5:30, get what I could get. That usually finishes off the day. Going into this warmer weather, I'm trying to really wean my income off of the Uber and Lyft platforms because I don't trust it anymore. Even though I've come up with this strategy, I don't want to rely on this as a means of income anymore. And even if I got it down to about 50% of my income, I would feel a lot safer, you know. So that's why I'm really pushing to get my media stuff going. You know, I will have links below this video if you're interested in checking out some of my other stuff I'm doing. I got some other channels. I have to build something outside of Uber and Lyft, guys. That's the key to this. You can't rely on rideshare for the rest of your life. And you don't want to be running out here confused, like, you know, no hate to the rideshare hustler, but he's confused. He's doing all these different things. He's trying all these different things. And that's kind of like what I'm doing with business. I'm all over the place with business. But I have a clear-cut path to getting out of rideshare, because this stuff will keep you trapped. And you see the rideshare hustler, every time he tries to get out, something pulls him back in. And that's what rideshare will do to your life if you let it. You gotta build a business outside of this mess and this madness. That's all the advice I could give you guys just for my years of getting older, you know. Thank you guys for your continued support. I hope the strategy helps. I can't guarantee it'll work in your area, like I said, but it's something to think about. You got to do your own research. You got to figure out which app is stronger at what times. You got to figure out if driving at night is even worth it, because obviously nights is where you make the most money, but not worth the risk, in my opinion. Thank you guys for your continued support again. Subscribe, like, comment, and I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Thank you.